The haunting of Isla de las Muñecas. Nestled deep in the canals of Xochimilco, Mexico, lies the Isla de las Muñecas, the island of the dolls. It's a place shrouded in mystery where hundreds of weathered, decaying dolls hang from the trees, their empty eyes watching, their cracked faces forever frozen in eerie expressions. Tourists came seeking a thrill, but locals rarely ventured there, speaking of strange happenings and restless spirits. Maria, a student of folklore was drawn to the island's morbid allure. Determined to document its history, she hired a boat to take her there just as the sun began to set. The ferryman, an older man with wary eyes, hesitated but eventually agreed. As they approached the island, the atmosphere changed. The air grew heavier, and the cries of distant birds faded into silence. The sight of the dolls hanging from the trees sent a shiver down Maria's spine, but she brushed it off as nerves. "I'll wait here," the ferryman muttered, refusing to set foot on the island. Maria nodded and stepped onto the creaking dock, her camera and notebook in hand. The island was eerily still, save for the faint rustling of leaves. The dolls hung like grotesque ornaments, their hollow eyes seeming to follow her every move. She began exploring, snapping photos and jotting down notes about the island's grim history. Legend had it that the island's caretaker, Don Julian, had placed the dolls there to appease the spirit of a girl who had drowned in the canal decades ago. But instead of peace, the dolls seemed to have absorbed the island's sorrow, becoming vessels for something far darker. As Maria wandered deeper into the island, she noticed the temperature dropping. Her camera began to malfunction, the screen flickering with static. She glanced around, suddenly feeling as if she wasn't alone. A faint giggle echoed through the trees. "Hello?" Maria called out, her voice trembling. No response. She pressed on, her footsteps crunching on the dry leaves. Then she saw it, a small doll lying on the ground, unlike the others. It looked pristine, its eyes unnervingly lifelike. Against her better judgment, Maria picked it up. The moment she touched the doll, a piercing scream filled the air. The sound was unearthly, coming from everywhere and nowhere at once. Panicked, Maria dropped the doll and began to run back toward the dock. But the path seemed to change, twisting and turning, leading her deeper into the island. The dolls now seemed alive, their heads turning to watch her, their mouths whispering in a language she couldn't understand. Maria stumbled into a clearing and froze. Standing before her was a figure, a girl, her dress soaked, her hair dripping with water. Her pale face was contorted in anguish, and her eyes burned with an unnatural light. "Why did you come here?" the girl hissed, her voice echoing with rage. Maria couldn't speak, couldn't move. The girl reached out a hand, and Maria felt an icy grip tightening around her throat. Just as she thought it was over, the sound of the ferryman's voice broke through the chaos. "Maria, come back!" The figure vanished, and Maria found herself standing at the dock, gasping for air. She scrambled onto the boat, her hands trembling. As the ferryman rowed away, Maria glanced back at the island. The dolls swayed gently in the breeze, as if waving goodbye. She knew she had escaped, but she also knew she'd never truly leave Isla de las Muñecas behind.